We have a chapter about Niti Aayog. Previously, we called as Planning Commission, and also we have Central Information Commission, which is created by the uh, Right to Information Act. So we'll call it as RTA Act. So first seventh chapter. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about the composition of National Human Rights Commission and appointment of the chairperson and functions and powers of the commission, and also role of NHRC in regarding safeguarding the human rights, and also what are the major human rights problems that are facing in Indian society. So, and also we will critically discuss about uh, functioning of Human Rights Commission. So, as part of our syllabus uh, in this National Human Rights Commission, which is originated from the international human rights issue. So, after the Second World War, we have established United Nations organization. So then United Nations General Assembly in Paris, 10th December of 1948, a declaration adopted by the United Nations organizations, which is about Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So it is a milestone declaration regarding this history of human rights, which sets out for the first time fundamental human rights to be universally protected. So that day, which is adopted by the UN General Assembly, 10th December, is observed every year as International Human Rights Day. So, which is the anniversary of this Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So, in 2018, Human Rights Day marked the 70th anniversary of the declaration. So, in due time, growing importance of strengthening national human rights institutions has been recognized, and in 1991, a United Nations meeting in Paris has developed a detailed set of principles that is called as Paris Principles. So, these principles became the foundation for the establishment and operation of national human rights institutions. So, in the continuation of this process, India also enacted this Protection of Human Rights Act 1993 with a view to bring about greater accountability and strengthening of the human rights in the country. So this act also authorized state government to establish state human rights commission. So with this effect, the National Human Rights Commission of India established on 12th October of 1993, which is an independent statutory body. As per provisions of Protection of Human Rights Act 1993, later amended in 2006. So NHRC has celebrated its Silver Jubilee 25 years on October 12 of 2018. Its headquarters located in New Delhi, and also it is the watchdog of human rights in the country. That is the rights related to life, liberty, equality, and dignity of the individual guaranteed by Indian Constitution are embodied in the international covenants and enforceable by the courts in India. So it was established in conformity with the Paris Principles, which is we have discussed about the UN declaration regarding this human rights adoption. So it was adopted for the promotion and protection of human rights in Paris. So in 1991 and endorsed by the General Assembly of United Nations Organization on 20th December of 1993. So here the NHRC is a standalone entity of Government of India with the mission of promoting and protecting human rights. So it's a statutory body mentioned in the Constitution of India that was established in 1993 under the Protection of Human Rights Act. So if we see the history or the composition of this National Human Rights Commission, it is composed of a chairperson and 8 other members. So in those 8 members, 4 are full-time members, 4 are deemed members. So if you see the composition of NHRC, the chairman of NHRC will be the retired Chief Justice of India. And members, if you see the full-time members, member one who is a judge of Supreme Court of India, and second member also who is or has been a member of Chief Justice of a High Court, and 2 more members candidates with knowledge or practical experience in the matters of human rights. And deemed members means ex officio members, means 4 national commissions chairpersons that are one is National Commission for Minorities, National Commission for Scheduled Caste, National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, National Commission for Women. So these 4 chairpersons are ex officio members of the National Human Rights Commission. If you see the selection of or appointment of these NHRC members, a selection committee will recommend the candidate to the president. So the selection committee includes the Prime Minister as a chairman of that committee, and members will be the Speaker of Lok Sabha, Union Home Minister, Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, leaders of the opposition in both houses of the parliament, which means opposition leader from Lok Sabha and opposition leader from Rajya Sabha. So this is the selection committee. If we see the functions and powers of this National Human Rights Commission, as stated in Section 12 of the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993, it includes about inquiry into complaints of violation of human rights and or negligence in the prevention of such violation by a public servant. So the commission also studies treaties and international instruments on human rights and makes recommendations for their effective implementation to the government. So initially, NHRC can investigate any complaints related to violations of human rights in India, either suo motu or after receiving a petition. So NHRC can interfere in any judicial process that involves any allegation of violation of human rights. So then NHRC can enter into that context. So monitoring and the living conditions are that inmates, including prisons, and make recommendations thereon. So prevention and safeguard is the primary duty of this NHRC. So it can intervene in any proceeding involving any allegation or violation of human rights pending before a court with the approval of that such court. So almost commission has awarded 11 crore compensation or recommendation between 2012 to 2017. So NHRC reviews the factors including acts of terrorism that inhibit the enjoyment of human rights and recommend appropriate remedial measures also. So NHRC spread some awareness regarding human rights literacy among various sections of the society and promote awareness of the safeguards available for the protection of these rights through publications, the media, seminars, and other available means. So, and also NHRC will work with NGOs. It encourages the efforts of non-governmental organizations and institutions working in the field of human rights. So, this is also one of the major uh, functions of NHRC, and also it can visit any prison or institution under the control of the state governments to observe the living conditions of inmates. So it can further make recommendations based on its observations to the authorities. And also NHRC can review the provisions of the constitution that safeguard human rights and can suggest necessary restorative measures also. So NHRC also research in the field of human rights is also promoted by the National Human Rights Commission. So human rights awareness and literacy through different media are promoted by NHRC in various sectors of society. So NHRC has the power to recommend suitable steps that can prevent violation of human rights in India to both central and the state governments. So the President of India gets an annual report from NHRC, which is laid before both the houses of the parliament. So, and also it has some limitations in its functioning. It is important to know the limitations of NHRC, majorly the recommendations made by the NHRC are not binding. So violation of human rights by private parties cannot be considered under NHRC jurisdiction. And also NHRC does not have power to penalize the authorities that don't implement its recommendations or orders. So even 3 of the NHRC members are judges, which gave the functioning of commission as a judicial touch. So the other members that are recommended by the selection committee may not necessarily be human rights experts. So some times the NHRC does not consider the cases that are older than in 1 year and cases that are anonymous, pseudonymous, or vague. So cases pertaining to service matters also. So these are excluded from the NHRC jurisdiction, and the NHRC has limited jurisdiction over cases related to armed forces. So the NHRC faces other issues like excess cases or complaints, insufficient funds, bureaucratic functioning style, etc. So if you see the major issues related to the National Human Rights Commission, India faces human rights violations on a large scale due to various reasons. So the National Human Rights Commission takes up most of the issues around the country. So some of them especially arbitrary arrest and detention, custodial torture, child labor, violence and discrimination against women and children, extrajudicial killings, excessive powers, sexual violence and abuse, and LGBTQ community rights, SC or ST, disabled people and other religious minority issues, labor rights and right to work, and conflict induced internal displacement and manual scavenging. So this is the major issues related to NHRC in India. If we see the term and removal of the chairman of the NHRC, the chairperson or the members of NHRC holds office for a term of 3 years or until they attain the age of 70 years, whichever is earlier. So earlier the tenure of office was 5 years or 70 years. whichever is earlier, but the Protection of Human Rights Amendment Bill 2019 brought in certain changes. So if we see the changes, the differences in the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993 and Protection of Human Rights Amendment Bill 2019, there are several changes made by this Amendment Act. If you see, the Chief Justice of Supreme Court or the Judge of Supreme Court shall be in the place of chairperson of NHRC, and also the bill amends this is to allow 3 members to be appointed, of which at least one will be a woman, and the bill provides for including the chairperson of the National Commission for Backward Classes, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, and the Chief Commissioners for persons with disabilities and members of as the members of NHRC. And also the bill reduces the term of office to 3 years or till the age of 70 years, whichever is earlier, and the bill removes the 5 years limit of reappointment, and the bill amend this and allowed the Secretary General to exercise all the administrative and financial powers except judicial functions subject to chairperson's control. So this is about NHRC. So some problems also facing with the previous act. So that's what new amended bill made many changes in this 2019 NHRC Protection of Human Rights Amendment Bill. So the bill amends previous bill, which is adopted in 1993. So consider wide range of societal groups also, maximize the number of potential candidates from a wide range of societal groups and educational qualifications. So if you see, the effectiveness of commission will be greatly enhanced by if their decisions are immediately made enforceable by the government. And also many social and human rights activists have the practical experience in human rights movement and can greatly contribute towards working of the these NHRC. So if you see, the NHRC efficiency can be enhanced by the government if commission's decisions are made enforceable. So this would remove the infamous toothless adjective from the commission's reputation. So these are the major issues faced by the NHRC. So if we think what reforms can be made to make NHRC more effective, there is need for complete revamping of NHRC to make it more effective and truly a watchdog of human rights violations in the country. And NHRC efficiency can be enhanced by government if commission by including members from civil society and activists related to this human rights movement. And also NHRC needs to develop an independent cadre of staff with appropriate experience. And many laws in India are very old and archaic in nature, by amending which government can bring more transparency in regulations, and also to improve and strengthen the human rights situation in India. State and non-state actors need to work tandem. So these are the major issues faced by the National Human Rights Commission. So this is all about National Human Rights Commission. If you see, our next topic is about Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog, previously known as Planning Commission of India. So it's a premier policy think tank of the government of India, and it was established with the aim to achieve sustainable development goals by active involvement of state government in the planning process. So the premier policy think tank was established in 2015 via executive resolution by replacing the Planning Commission of India. So uh, these, if you see the background of this Niti Aayog or Planning Commission, uh, planning has been in Indian psyche as our leaders came under influence of the socialist claim of erstwhile USSR, Russia. So Planning Commission served as the planning vehicle for close to 6 decades with a focus on control and command approach. So Planning Commission was replaced by a new institutions which we are going to discuss in detail. So this Niti Aayog on January 1st of 2015 with emphasis on bottom-up approach to envisage the vision of maximum governance, minimum government, enjoying the spirit of cooperative federalism. So just so so the previous planning commission, which has almost a legacy of 65 years, has been replaced by this institution called Niti Aayog. The utility and the significance of planning commission has been questioned for a longer period. So the replacement seems to be more relevant and responsive to the present economic needs and scenario in the country. So it is a pro-vital organization that is bound to play a vital role in the development process of the country. So uh, if you see the present chairman of Niti Aayog, as usual, ex officio chairman would be the Prime Minister of India at present time is Narendra Modi, and Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Sri Suman Beri from May 1st, 2022 to present is the current Vice Chairman of the Niti Aayog. So the Parameswaran Iyer joined Niti Aayog as Chief Executive Officer on 10th July of 2022, and also the Aravind Virmani joined Niti Aayog as a full-time member with effect from the 16th July of 2022. So one district and one product policy, it is a recent agenda of Niti Aayog Governing Council. So if you see the structure or composition of the Niti Aayog, chairperson will be Prime Minister, vice chairperson to be appointed by the Prime Minister, Governing Council, which included with chief ministers of all the states and lieutenant governors of union territories, and also regional council to address specific regional issues comprising chief ministers and lieutenant governors chaired by the prime minister or his nominee. So ad hoc membership, two members in ex officio capacity from leading research institutions on rotational basis. So maximum four from Union Council of Ministers to be nominated by Prime Minister as ex officio membership. And the Chief Executive Officer will be appointed by the Prime Minister for a fixed tenure in rank of Secretary to Government of India. So special invitees will be there in this Niti Aayog, experts, specialists with domain knowledge nominated by the Prime Minister of India. So if you see what is the importance of Niti Aayog? The 65-year-old Planning Commission had become a redundant organization and it was relevant in a command economy structure, but not any longer. So, India is a diversified country and its states are in various phases of economic development along with their own strengths and weaknesses. So, in this context, a one size fits all concept approach to economic planning is obsolete and it cannot make India competitive in today's global economy. If we see the key objectives of this Niti Aayog, um, one is to foster cooperative federalism through structured support initiatives and mechanisms with the states on continuous basis regarding a strong states make a strong nation. So, to develop mechanisms to formulate credible plans at a village level and aggregate these progressively at higher levels of government and to ensure on areas that are specifically referred to it, that is about interests of national security, are incorporated in economic strategy and policy, and also to pay special attention to the sections of our society that may be at risk of not benefiting adequately from economic progress, and also to provide advice and encourage partnerships between key stakeholders and national and international like-minded think tanks as well as educational and policy research institutions. So to create knowledge and innovation and entrepreneurial support system through a collaborative community of national and international experts, practitioners, and other partners also working for this Niti Aayog. So, to maintain a state of the art resource center, be a repository of research on good governance and best practices in sustainable and equitable development, as well as help their dissemination to stakeholders. So, this is uh, the major key objectives of Niti Aayog. If you see the difference with Niti Aayog and Planning Commission, Niti Aayog serves as an advisory think tank. Previously, Planning Commission is served as extra constitutional body, and Niti Aayog draws membership from a wider expertise, and Planning Commission had limited expertise. So Niti Aayog serves in spirit of cooperative federalism as states are equal partners. In Planning Commission, states participated as spectators in annual plan meetings. So Niti Aayog focuses upon bottom to up approach of planning, and the Planning Commission followed a top to down approach. And also, Niti Aayog does not possess mandate to impose policies. For Planning Commission, imposed policies on states and tied allocation of funds with projects it approved. So Niti Aayog does not have powers to allocate funds which are vested in finance minister. Previously in Planning Commission, it had powers to allocate funds to ministries and state governments. So these are the difference between the Niti Aayog and Planning Commission. So Niti Aayog could emerge as an agent of change over time and contribute to the government's agenda of improving governance and implementing innovative measures for better delivery of public services. So Niti Aayog continues to be representative in efficient, transparent, innovative, and accountable governance system in the country with distinguished work ethics. So decentralization of planning, but within 5-year plan framework. So bureaucratic inertia need to be shaken, specializing it and fixing the accountability on basis of performance. So this is the primary objectives of the Niti Aayog. So there are several supportive bodies or verticals of Niti Aayog help in smooth functioning of the requisite tasks by the organization. If we see the verticals administrative and support units, agriculture and allied sectors, aspirational districts program cell, communication and social media cell, and data management and analysis, and economics and finance cell, education, governance and research, and infrastructure connectivity, natural resources and environment, and island development, rural development, science and technology, social justice and empowerment, and state finances and coordination, sustainable development goals, water and land resources, micro, small, and medium enterprises, all are the in part of this Niti Aayog. So the Niti Aayog is based on the 7 pillars of effective governance. If you see, one is about pro people. It fulfills the aspirations of society as well as individuals. And the second one is proactivity. It anticipation of any response to citizen needs. And the third one is participation, involvement of the citizenry, so everyone can participate in this activities. And fourth one is empowering especially women in all aspects. And the fifth one is inclusion of all people, means irrespective of caste, creed, and gender. And equality here, providing equal opportunity to all, especially for youth. And transparency, making the government visible and responsible. So this is all about 7 pillars of effective governance envisaged by the Niti Aayog. So if you see the achievements of the Niti Aayog, so if you see the Niti Aayog achievements, the agriculture vertical in Niti Aayog organized many national level workshops, and monitoring and analyzing food and agriculture policies programs in India. And also it aims to monitor, analyze, and reform food and agriculture policies. And also the Niti Aayog governing council promoted zero budget natural farming. Additionally, natural farming is being promoted by Bharatiya Prakritik Krishi Paddhati program under Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. Uh, so Niti Aayog also has 3-year action agenda. So initially, the 3-year action agenda is a Niti Aayog document for the period of 2017 to 18 and 2019-20. So this document is being published to recommend policy changes and programs for action from 2017 to 18 and 2019 to 20. So, and also so this Niti Aayog has changed the fundamental nature of planning of India. If you see, the changes are made in policy making while designing strategic and long-term policies and programs for government of India. Niti Aayog also provides relevant technical advice to the center and states. Example, medical education reforms and bottom to up approach. This enables to achieve sustainable development goals with cooperative federalism by fostering the involvement of state governments of India in the economic policy making process using a bottom to up approach and new innovations. At the core of Niti Aayog's creation are two hubs, Team India Hub and the Knowledge and Innovation Hub. So if you see, the Team India Hub leads the engagement of states with the central government, while the Knowledge and Innovation Hub builds Niti's think tank capabilities. Example, Atal Innovation Mission. And also the Niti Aayog initiates strategic programs to design strategic and long-term policy and program frameworks and initiatives and monitor their progress and their efficiency. So the lessons learned through monitoring and feedback will be used for making innovative improvements. So including necessary mid-course corrections, example, education and water management. And also it offers a platform for resolution of intersector and interdepartmental issues in order to accelerate the implementation of the development agenda. For example, Atal Mission for Regeneration under and urban transformation. And also Niti Aayog has taken an initiative on blockchain usage of e-governance, which means use of advanced technology, and has conceptualized the tech stack as India Chain. So India Chain is the name given to Niti Aayog's ambitious project to develop a nationwide blockchain network. And also it focuses on technology upgradation and capacity building for implementation of programs and initiatives. Example, Digital India project. And indices measuring states' performance in health, education, and water management. Name and Shame has helped improve states' business rankings. And also introduction of individuals with technical training and occupations who perceive many important societal problems as being solvable within the applied use of technology and related applications. For example, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, National Mission for Clean Ganga. So even the three plans spread over three different time periods. If you see, first is a 15-year vision that encompasses overall goals and objectives of the country for the next 15 years. And second is a 7-year strategy, which lays on roadmap of development for next 7 years, dividing those goals and objectives into two parts. Third and final is a 3-year action agenda, which state the tasks and targets to be accomplished by in next 3 years time frame, further dividing the strategy into two parts. If we see the success of Niti Aayog so far, it has increased the involvement of the states in the planning process. Example, hosted 3 subgroup of chief ministers on revamping centrally sponsored schemes, Swachh Bharat and skill development. And also Niti Aayog has been at the forefront in conceptualizing initiatives to contribute the growth of the country. For example, roadmap for digital payment, aspirational district program, monitoring implementation of sustainable development goals, etc. And also it is fostering sense of cooperative as well as compensative and competitive federalism amongst the states. For example, releasing ranking on various development parameters. So even the Atal Mission, Atal Innovation Mission, which is established under Niti Aayog, has done admirable work in improving the innovation ecosystem in India. So if you see the issues associated with Niti Aayog has no role in influencing private and public investment, and inequality has continued to grow in the Indian society, and the effect of this Niti Aayog in combating this has been subpar, and politicization of the organization in recent times. Solutions to solve structure issues in the country are still not forthcoming, and Niti Aayog has been transformed into a glorified recommendatory body which lacks the requisite power to bring positive change in the government's actions, and also inadequate resources to the new planning body. So, this equipping the planning body with requisite power so that it can affect changes in the administration system, and allocation of adequate resources also facing by the institution. Niti Aayog could be made legally accountable to the legislature for its inability to meet the targets. So this would bring in more accountability. So finally, the setting of Niti Aayog has brought many positive results. However, there is need to ensure sufficient changes are brought in the planning body to ensure it can meet objectives. And also, this Niti Aayog is one of the most ambitious reforms of the government towards minimum government, maximum governance. Overall, given that it has been functioning only for a little over period, it is a bit premature to assess its importance. So, Niti Aayog has undertaken several challenges, initiated, launched programs, and also it is uh, uh, created to foster cooperative federalism and promote involvement and participation of the all state governments in the economical policy making of the country. So we have one more topic is about uh, Central Information Commission. So in this chapter, we will discuss about structure and composition of this institution, and also the powers and functions of the Central Information Commission. So this Central Information Commission is an important authority of India needed for the smooth functioning of democracy and good governance. So this Chief Information Commission is the authorized body in India to act upon complaints received from the individuals who have been unable to submit requests of information to a central or state public information officer due to either the officer not having been appointed or the respective officer refused to entertain the application under the RTI Act 2005. So the Central Information Commission is not a constitutional body. These CIC, Central Information Commission, constituted with effect from 12th October of 2005 under the Act of RTI Act 2005. So its jurisdiction extends to all central public authorities. So if we see the composition of this Central Information Commission, the Chief Information Commission is headed by the Chief Information Commissioner, and not more than 10 information commissioners are there for the assistance of Chief Information Commission. So the Chief Information Commissioner holds office for 5 years. At present, the commission has 6 information commissioners apart from the Chief Information Commissioner. So the appointment of the commissioner in CIC, the commissioners are appointed by the president on the recommendation of committee consisting of the Prime Minister of India as chairperson of that committee, the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, and the Union Cabinet Minister nominated by the Prime Minister. So if you see the term of this office, uh, shall hold office commissioners and chief information commissioners shall hold office for such term as prescribed by the central government until they attain the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. So they are not eligible for reappointment. If you see the role of these Chief Information Commission, it has certain powers and functions, and also to receive and inquire into a complaint from any person regarding information requested under RTI Act 2005. So it can order an inquiry into any matter if there are reasonable grounds, means suo motu power. So while inquiring, the commission has the powers of civil court in respect of summoning and requiring documents, etc. So, the establishment of this CIC Central Information Commissioner Office is particularly for the information who needs to know about the required data. So if you see the role of Central Information Commission, so it can order into any matter on reasonable grounds only, as we mentioned, suo motu power, and secure compliance of its decisions from any public authority, and receive and inquire into complaint from any person. Any person means who has not received any response to his request for information within a specified time, who deems the information given to him is incomplete or false or misleading, and any other matter relating to securing the information, and also who has been unable to submit a request for information due to the non-appointment of an officer, and also who considers the fees so charged unreasonable, whoever refused the information requested. So at that time, they can receive an inquiry into a complaint. And also the commission has the power to examine any record under the control of the public authority. All such records have to given the commission during the examination, and nothing shall be withheld. So during the inquiries, the Chief Information Commission has the powers of a civil court, such as the powers to summon and enforce the attendance of persons and compel them to give oral and written evidence on oath and produce documents or things. So require the discovery and inspection of documents, receive evidence on affidavit, requisition public records or copies from any office or court, and issue summons for the examination of documents or witnesses, and also any other matter that may be prescribed. So the Chief Election Commissioner also submits an annual report to the Government of India on the implementation of the provisions of the Act. This report is then placed before both houses of the Parliament. So every state has a state information commission also. It is constituted by the state government. It has one state chief information commissioner and not more than 10 state information commissioners to be appointed by the governor on the recommendation of the appointments committee headed by the chief minister of that particular state. So issues here in state cadre delays and backlogs. On average, the chief information commissioner takes 388 days, more than 1 year, to dispose of an appeal or complaint from the date it was filed before the commission. So it has not having particular machinery to smooth work. A report released last year has pointed out the more than 2.2 lakh right to information cases are pending at the central and state level. So these the report found that the government officials hardly face any punishment or violating the law. Penalties also imposed is in only 2.2% of cases that were disposed of, despite previous analysis showing the rate of about 59% violations, which should have triggered the process of penalty imposition. So, lack of transparency, the criteria of selection, etc., nothing has been placed on record. So, democracy is all about the governance of the people, by the people, and for the people. In order to achieve the third paradigm, the state needs to start acknowledging the importance of an informed public and the role that it plays in the country's development as a nation. In this context, underlying issues related to RTI Act should be resolved so that it can be serve the information needs of society. So, by its 2019 order, the Apex Code had passed a slew of directions of the central and state governments to fill vacancies across central and state information commissions in a transparent and timely manner. So, urgent digitalization of records and proper record management is important, as lack of remote access to records in the lockdown has been widely cited as the reason for not being able to conduct hearings of appeals and complaints by commission. So, from this act, every person has right to know the information from the public offices, including state and central. So, this is all about RTI Act and Chief Election Information Commission. So this RTI Act provides for the creation of these both state and central information commission uh, uh, for the information. If we see uh, the present Central Information Commissioner is Yashwardhan Kumar Sinha from 2022 till now. So, from the establishment of these Chief Information Commissioners, now he is the 11th Chief Information Commissioner. So, there are 25 state information commissions also there. So this is about Chief Information, Central Information Commission. So tomorrow at same time, we will meet again to discuss next topics, that is about politics of regional identities, center-state relations in India, and democratic decentralization. So thank you for your participation. I'm concluding the session. I will meet again tomorrow at same time. Thank you for your participation. Thank you all.